Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
and on Skype.
Yeah, Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started. We'll get started. Instead of us dropping the F-bomb, somebody else dropped it. Unity CEO John Riccitiello apologizes after describing game developers who reject monetization by calling them fucking idiots.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Apparently, Unity CEO, and I think he was the ex-CEO of EA, just flat out called developers effing idiots for not being pro the monetization of Brilliant, but just the general concept of monetization as well. And of course, devs hit back pretty hard on that because they were just like, "Wow, dude, you know." They're the most beautiful people, but they're also some of the biggest fucking idiots, as a quote, because of their sentiments about monetization. And he really pushes the concept of monetization being the way to go. And it's funny because it's like, I understand monetization makes a lot of money, and thus you're always going to see it. But it isn't the only way to make your business, because you can make money off of it, but you can't build a franchise. You can't build a reputation off of monetization. That's why you still got to have good products. That's why you still got to have single-player games. You know, you still got to have something that actually gives your studio some surviving power, because the biggest thing with monetization, like mobile games for that, is that they eventually trend out.
Oh,
they trend
beautiful.
and then they trend out.
Oh, imagine being CEO of Unity after running Electronic Arts into the ground and permanently staining their public image. You begin enacting similar policies at Unity. When questioned about your methods, you on record say, oh, that's great. I will say, dude, I mean, I understand monetization makes money. It's making money. I mean, here, while this article is going on, several related articles have come up about people spending $15,000 to acquire something in Diablo and protest just to destroy it. You gave them $15,000. Diablo Immortal, full item upgrades cost over $50,000. There was somebody who spent $300,000 recently in the news, and his problem is he couldn't match up with anybody in PvP.
You normally don't know these things. I'm shocked. I was just thinking, going like, what about the guy who can't play with anyone in PvP
because he
bought so much pay to win that no one's on his level, so now he can't play against people and beat them up with his overbought out character because no one's at that level, which I find hilarious. He actually paid to win himself out of the game.
Yeah. So anyway, no, monetization makes money, and a lot of companies, are looking at that bottom line. So I do understand monetization to a point. I do understand it.
I just said that. It makes money, but you can't build a reputation on it. You can't build a franchise on it.
Building concepts on it, starting from the very beginning, talking about monetization. Yeah, and to call people fucking idiots because they chose not to go that route. There are a lot of games that sell because they don't have monetization. There are people who don't want to play games with monetization. It's a market, So why call somebody an idiot because they don't agree or don't choose to go the same route as you?
Especially because game devs are supposed to be making good games. You got guys for that. You don't want your game devs making trash games because, yes, it'll get you that burst of money. But look at EA's situation. Like they said, ran it into the ground. Now he's over at Unity. He's already scrumming their reputation. So while they may make some monetization games that grab some quick bucks, the ultimate value of the company is going to deteriorate as the reputation drops, especially because everybody's trying to make monetization. Everybody's doing it. You're jumping into a pool of sharks and hoping you come out on top. Whereas on the flip side, according to some companies, franchises that even fuck up regularly, like Call of Duty, are like game changers, complete and total game changers. Why? Because they built a franchise. They built a reputation. They built a fan base.
Yeah.
They can put out 2-3 bad games in a row and keep going. So it's like, you're not going to build a franchise on overly monetized games and making that the main focus of your game. You're just going to make cheap monetization efforts that'll make bursts of money until they're not popular, until the next big thing comes along. Because that's what happens. It's a constant process of replacing it with the new clickbait monetization game, and then the next one, and then the next one. And it might not be you. You might not be the one that's on top. That's the downside, is that it's a risk. You know, you may not pull it off. For example, Diablo Immortal's doing well now. Diablo Immortal 2, be a different story. Like, with all the bad press, it will definitely do less well because they burnt so much goodwill making the first one, including people who even prefer to spend money now complaining because they can't PvP. They can't do this. So even amongst your whales, they're losing their reputation. So the next one will make less, and Diablo 3 will make even less than that because you burnt your reputation.
Yeah.
You're not considered to be a quality game, even if you are a monetization game.
Bloodaxe, you got anything on this one?
Well, I mean, there is a place for games for that go down this path. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to get through that realm. Like you were saying, being on top is extremely risky and difficult. I mean, you have to have a product that people are willing to sink money into. But it's a niche market. But if that is your entire philosophy for game development, you're not going to make a lot of money because you can't make enough games that's going to have enough monetization to keep people churning in money. So I think, yes, EA is the one that everyone's familiar with as far as, loot boxes and monetization, things like that. But I'm with you guys. I'd rather have a game that has good quality, and if you release DLC that I can pay for, great. If you want to do something like DOA and you have different skins that you can purchase for your fighters, okay, I have the choice to purchase the different cosmetics if I want to, but I don't have to in order to play the game. And I think there are some smart ways you could do it for those that want to have that additional content, but you would still be able to make a good game that people are willing to pay for and play for whatever the cost is to purchase the game. But I do think that you're wrong for calling someone an idiot for not believing in your philosophy. I don't think anyone should be that steadfast and not willing to at least listen to other people's ideas when it comes to developing a game or any kind of project that you're working on. So I think it's a very bad move on his part.
Yeah, and he did come back, and I mean he wrote a long thing trying to explain himself. I don't know. It came off as
Insincere as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, can you not believe what he said at first was his real sentiment with how strongly he worded it? That makes the apology ring really hollow when you went full core off.
You sort of over explaining your apology too. I mean, you broke your down into 4 segments and extra. So, yeah. I mean it's one of those things of, it's there. He said it. He backed out of it, whatever. It brings up an interesting conversation, and that is the monetization of games, or the over monetization of games. And yeah, I'm glad to see that we have devs that don't over monetize. Like I said before, I've come to term, and maybe this is me I guess backing up or losing a bit, but I've come to terms with cosmetic monetization and stuff like that, because I don't give a shit what my character looks like anyway. If the game's fun, as long as it's just not completely ridiculous. You don't put my my main character in like a Speedo and that's all he gets unless he buys a new outfit or something. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy games without, and I don't have to spend money to buy the weird outfits and all that stuff.
The best way to put it is, go ahead.
I was going to say, we all know that Xeno likes the Zardoz outfit for all of his characters when he can get it going.
Oh yeah, you know it.
Oh boy. To cut it short, because I've actually bought cosmetics before on a game when I'm really enjoying it, is that a good game has people willing to spend money.
I've bought cosmetics on free-to-play games that are monetized only by cosmetics.
I mean, I've played a lot of Tales games, and when I was really enjoying them, they've been known for always having outfits for the main characters. And if I'm enjoying the game enough, that's the key, then I'm like, it's worth a little bit extra money. And that's where the monetization versus, like Bloodaxe was saying, actually being a quality game that makes you willing to spend money, where you went, we made a really good game. Are you willing to spend a little extra money on it? Versus, no, this game is designed, for example, like, let's get out, Diablo Immortal.
Mhm.
No, this game is designed that you must spend money to get to the end game. You must spend money. We're putting in time wasters, and we F with your progression.
Be dead or alive and have $1,000 worth of outfits.
I said that makes you want to spend the money. I do not want to spend that money on that.
Joking.
Oh my god, they have so many outfits for DOA. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
But that's the key difference. To me, I think you can monetize a game and do well. You just don't make the monetization frustration mechanics. That's the word, frustration mechanics. Make them something extra.
Yeah.
I'll spend money because I actively won't buy frustration mechanics. Like y'all know Q and how stubborn I get.
Well, yeah.
I specifically won't buy you stuff if it's frustration mechanics because I am strict.
That second Lord of the Rings game.
Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah.
No, Shadows of War. Shadows of War.
Yeah. It was a good game, but
frustration mechanics. Designed to make it almost impossible to do those last sets of missions without buying higher level orcs.
Really enjoyed the first one. Did not buy the second one just because of.
I bought the DLC for the first one because I enjoyed it. But I wouldn't even play Shadows of War because I heard about the frustration mechanics. If they hadn't done that, they could have probably sold me DLC for it. That's the funny part. I bought DLC for Outriders. And Outriders wasn't the greatest in-game experience. But they made DLC. They were supposed to fix the
I was
in-game.
trying to end this conversation, and I was gonna lead into another topic, and you killed it by moving off of the topic I brought up as my transition.
Shadows of Mordor?
Yes, I was going to say. And on to Lord of the Rings things that just don't fucking work. And you ruined that.
Oh, I thought we were rolling into Sony.
No,
man. I can't read you. I'm going by the order of the titles. See?
Those are suggestive. I just thought, hey, this is rolling
suggestion.
Well.
It's not suggestive. They are not. By the way, we do not have a suggestive screen over here. Do not listen to him. There's not a suggestive screen.
I don't know, man. Have you seen the bookmarks?
No, I very actively ignore the bookmarks.
All right. Next topic. Let's move on to Amazon's Lord of the Rings.
Rings of Power.
So, the Lord of the Rings series apparently ignored Peter Jackson. Now, the reason this is interesting is, of course, if you don't know, Peter Jackson is the one who made the successful Lord of the Rings movies that quite a few people adore.
And the Hobbit trilogies.
Yeah, which were okay.
They're better than Rings of Power. They're better than what we're going to get out of Rings of Power.
No, I understand. But anyway, just to continue on the fact of Rings of Power, the creators of this just not giving a fuck about the original content. They weren't even willing to take advice from somebody who had been there.
And did what could be considered to be the greatest fantasy trilogy of all time.
No, I'm more amused. I'm less amused with this, honestly. Like, this doesn't even surprise me. The whole Peter Jackson thing, the conference you were telling me about, man.
Yeah, the Q&A and
that Q&A is
like them being asked questions about Galadriel's crest on her armor and basically getting like a says you, just like don't know what they talk about. I mean, if you're going to have a Q&A and you're going to mock people for asking you questions and not answer them. Stephen Colbert is supposed to be this big buff on knowledge about Lord of the Rings, and yet his reaction to the question about, like, why would she wear this crest? She doesn't like this crest. She doesn't like this family clan. I don't know all the specifics. I'm not the specialist. But her reaction is just like, says you. And I'm just like, wow, that's like a 5-year-old response. That disgusted me. That's when I realized that, no, people aren't bullying the actors on the show. They know nothing about this. They are not fans of Lord of the Rings. They know nothing about the material. They pay no respect to it. This just put the thing in it, though, because who wouldn't want to listen to Peter Jackson after his success? Like, you've got a guy who's knocked it out the park.
Now, this is
and you're just like, fuck him.
I'm curious. Has anybody heard from Christopher Tolkien on this? Because apparently one of the reasons they said Amazon winded up not touching base with Peter Jackson when creating there was because of Peter Jackson not being in good with the Tolkien estate. Christopher Tolkien had, talked shit about the movies back in 2013. So
I could care two fucks about Christopher Tolkien. He can go jump.
I'm just curious what he's saying about Amazon's
He's probably
project.
all for it.
If he said they eviscerated the book by making it an action movie for young people age 15 to 25. If you felt that way about the movies,
I don't know. I think he's all in because I honestly, ever since then, I've never listened to him because the thing is, I read The Lord of the Rings when I was like 14 years old. Like I
know that's
15 to 25 is the perfect age range. So I'm going like, oh no, they made it. What? Like, you're literally sitting there going like, what did he want the movies to be? I mean, I read the books. I prefer the books to the movie, but the movie was good. I don't know what he expected on the screen. So, but let's be honest, after I got betrayed by Sir Patrick Stewart with the Picard show, I no longer respect these old dogs. I don't trust them anymore. Like, I never thought there'd be a day that Sir Patrick Stewart, man I respected greatly and was a massive fan of, will create a series that destroyed his most iconic character to that degree. So, am I in disbelief that Christopher Tolkien could betray his father's works and be a supporter of Rings of Power? Yes. I fully believe that. Gene Roddenberry's son recently was snapping back at Kirk. Give me the name. You know I'm bad. William Shatner. Over his comments, and I see that as a betrayal because I'm like, no, Gene Roddenberry would not be happy what was done. But the kids suck, dude.
I try not to speak for the dead personally. I think saying that somebody would be turning over in their grave about something, I mean, it's probably not the best thing to be saying, especially.
Hey, somebody's got to defend the man. His son ain't.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what's happening with Star Trek is not something Gene Roddenberry would have written, because his whole idea of a utopian future, everybody getting along, is now being pissed upon.
Yeah, dude. I don't think you know how dark this new shit is.
I know. I mean, I do, and I also understand that. I mean, I've seen writers that don't defend their own work. So
that is true.
I just don't really. I don't know what people would do anymore. I've been so shocked by the actions that I've seen people who I thought would care about their works and projects that just seem not to care anymore and just giving up. So I don't know anymore.
Well, I'm going to err on the side of optimism and like to think that these incredibly imaginative, creative, and optimistic people who told us incredible fantasy stories, incredible sci-fi futuristic stories that had hope, positivity, unity as their main principles would have maintained those principles all the way through. I have to. Otherwise, I become these people now. I become this dark, hateful person that thinks everything's racist, everything's sexist, everything's dark, everything's wrong. You can't tell a joke. You can't enjoy something unless it's
I also personally don't talk about Star Trek very much just because I don't feel it,
There's a reason for that.
And but there are quite a few people I know who are fans and say that they really love it and enjoy the show, and will defend it to their heart's blood. So,
I think
since I haven't watched it, and I have people on both sides that hate it and love it, and I just don't really care. I don't know, man.
And I've tried so hard to understand those people. But when I ask them what they like about it, they never give me a real answer, though. I could tell you what I love about Lord of the Rings. And you should be able to do that, too. But when I go, what do you like about Star Trek Discovery? And you just go, it's just great. What about it? I like the greatness of it.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I'm just like, and it's got representation. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Well, let me say this as a minority. I'm the only one on the show.
All right. You're not
I
Filipino,
take
though.
great offense at the fact that I am constantly being told by certain interest groups that I can't enjoy something unless I see myself. I can't like Wesker unless he's black. I can't like this character unless they're black. I find that limiting. It's you implying that I have limited intelligence, that I can't understand this character because they don't have brown skin. I can't understand the struggle. I can't understand a father protecting his children because he's not a black father protecting black kids. That's denigrating to us minorities. Stop being fooled, my fellow minorities of whatever it is, whether it's from orientation to that. Stop being fooled. You do not need to see an exact copy of your lifestyle to understand it. You're not an idiot. Do not let people convince you you're stupid and you can't understand something. Oh, I can't think elves are cool unless there's a black elf. It's just a skin color. This is just a skin color. Stop acting like this defines me.
Yeah.
Like it affects my brain and my
and
morals.
that was always something that was interesting about sci-fi. Used to, sci-fi really didn't care about skin color because that was the whole thing. There was aliens. Skin color didn't matter anymore.
Well, also the concept.
Aliens.
Also, in the future, the concept is usually that society has reached a unified background, so it's no longer culture versus nurture versus nature. Everybody's growing up in the same environment. Thus, your skin color doesn't matter because everybody's getting a federation education and all of this, which is at pretty optimal. Well, there's no longer people. They're disenfranchised. Why is that a bad thing? Why would you reintroduce classism to that society? Who thinks that's an improvement? Man, you know what I hate about Star Trek? There's no racism and classism. You know, like who thinks that's a good thing to put back into something?
We were talking about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. So they should have listened to Peter Jackson. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the show still hadn't come out. I don't know, man. From everything I've seen, it's going to be bad.
It's a soap. They're trying to do Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones didn't end that well.
You know, like I said, I mean, the soapbox, the Q&A, just the fact that, so much of that is not about the show, but about all the check marks for social whatever, whether it be race, gender, non-gender.
There are memes, Zeno. There are memes of how many times they say the word diversity. It gets up to like a dozen plus times of saying that one word. And you're just like, inclusion and diversity constantly.
And to me, that's, I mean, it's great. It's great. Diversity's good. I mean, you want diversity of ideas. You want diversity of culture, stuff like that, because it makes things interesting. But you just do it. It should come naturally, and that way it also doesn't feel forced. Because once you feel forced with it, you lose me.
Yeah, remember back in the day?
I'm no longer in it.
Remember back in the day when there could be a black person in a movie and no one had to point it out? They would just be there. Well, you would just look up and there's an Asian person, there's a black person, and that was it. Nobody had to go ooh.
I mean, we were just talking about Star Trek, and we lost someone in Star Trek recently.
I know.
There was no
mention. Well, because it doesn't fit the message.
She was just a great character in a show.
Yeah, Bloodaxe, you're the one that brought us to us. Go ahead and let's do a short call out because, respects.
Yeah, so those of you that don't know, we lost last Sunday shortly after our show, Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura in the original series. A very phenomenal character, beautiful woman, did an exceptional job in the 60s when there wasn't a lot of diversity. And going back to talking about creators, Gene Roddenberry wanted to bring in characters that were diverse organically, including a Russian during the beginning of the Cold War. We had, the first black-white kiss on television with Kirk and Uhura. So she was groundbreaking in a lot of ways. But she went on to, celebrity status with the conventions and whatnot. And she gave a lot of fans a lot of love. And we do appreciate everything that she's done in sci-fi. And I truly am sorry I never had a chance to meet her because she was one of my favorite cast members.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've only got a couple left between the original series with William Shatner and George Takei and I think can't remember the actor's name that played Chekhov. I think he's still around, but we don't have very many of them left. So the world is definitely not as bright as it was last Sunday.
And an interesting observation is that I'm saddened that she did not get the proper attention, but I know why. I'm just going to say it. It's because it would damage the agenda of the current shows. Them saying that there wasn't any black representation, that there wasn't any respect to this, if they bring her up, that damages the message. So because of this, a wonderful actress, a groundbreaking role, a well-known, one of the first major, one of the biggest shows, a black actress, like you said, the first black-white kiss on it, all of this got swept under the rug so they can pretend that the new stuff is the first time this happened. And they erased almost someone to do this. This is why I'm so angry. I'm not just being an asshole. Injustice is being done to people to do this. Like when we were talking about Lord of the Rings, to get back onto that, there's an entire montage you can see of them saying, this is the first black dwarf character or the first female dwarf character, and people showing shots from the Peter Jackson movies and The Hobbit and that of these things happening, and these people are getting erased. They're saying this didn't happen. They're lying on people that did this
because they didn't check. They weren't checking the checkbox then. It all felt natural. Like yes, I mean even Bloodaxe said Gene Roddenberry wanted some diversity in the show, but it didn't feel forced. He wrote it in naturally.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you had all these nationalities on the deck. You had Russians, you had Asian, you had black. Like they threw you had an alien.
Yeah.
You had all this diversity like it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want it to be normal. They don't even want it to be normal. They want it to be offensive. Notice, they put the inclusion in here, but they also keep throwing it at you. They keep going.
They want it to be blatant so they can pat themselves
on the back. And
and that's the thing. It's that need, I think, for recognition. It's why they can't recognize Gene Roddenberry for what he did, because then they can't pat themselves.
Then they can't
back.
say that they did it.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, they don't want to fit in. They don't want it to ever be normal that we get along. They want it to be an issue. They want it to be offensive. I should feel that it's cool there's a black elf, but the way they're talking to me, I should be instead angry at white people that there's finally a black elf. And I'm like, I don't want to be angry. I just want to enjoy this. Can I enjoy it? No, you don't enjoy it. Get mad.
It's funny you bring that up because I can't remember. I can remember how excited you were to meet Tim Russ, which was a black Vulcan who wasn't forced, who was a great character and well written. Versus now, oh look, we have a black elf here, and then enforced down our throat, as opposed to writing a good story, irrelevant of the color of the skin of the character, and have us enjoy it.
Yes, Vulcans were my favorite race, dude. They were my space elves, and seeing a black Vulcan was really cool. But they didn't make it a thing; they just fucking did it.
Yeah.
Well, and the complexion and skin color of the Vulcan race was never documented as not having black, where the elves sort of they sort of have a history behind them.
Like literally, if your skin color is different, you're a whole different breed of elf.
Yeah. But anyway,
let's not get into that because as Steve Carell says you.
Yeah, that's right. Let's
the
move on.
Specialist on the Lord of the Rings.
We
says
spent
you.
way too much time on the Lord of the Rings, not Lord of the Rings topic. All right, we'll move on.
Want to talk about monopolies?
We can talk about monopolies, or we can do a random encounter. What do you want?
Random encounter. Then
All
monopolies. We'll roll some dice, and then we'll roll some dice.
Q, why don't you give us a roll? Let me get this in the right location here. All righty. Right, and you rolled a 6.
9.
That's a 6.
Oh, 6.
right.
What happened on my list?
6 is Mutants and Masterminds. Iconic mutant power that is poorly utilized.
Oh man, that's a lot. Going back to the X-Men. Oh wait, I'm sorry, mutants. I'm not allowed to say X-Men because the letters M-E-N in that order are offensive despite context, place, or intent.
A woman.
Oh, that was really cringe, even though it was worse cringe when it actually was said. Let's say it's a word, dumbass. It doesn't even reference me. Okay, sorry. Don't get me started on that. I'm actually a Christian. I was the dumbest moment.
All right. Anyway, Mutants and Masterminds, iconic mutant power that is
what?
poorly
I got
utilized.
one for you. They're going to start calling it womanstration. It can't be
Okay.
menstruation. It's womanstration.
All right. Iconic mutant power. Iconic mutant power that is poorly utilized.
I mean, there's comics where they fixed it, but 9 times out of 10, the 2 powers, I'll do 2. Well, no, let me let you go so I don't take one from you. There you go. I got 2 that I like rarely ever used correctly, or at least to their full potential. What do you got?
Do one. Just do one.
Go.
You go. You roll.
Okay, I'm doing 2 then. Maybe.
No, do one. You can do another one after the
Teleportation.
round. All right, teleportation.
Teleportation is a power that we play Mutants and Masterminds. Actually, Mutants and Masterminds is also the name of a wonderful D20 game. It's very fun to play. Me and my Saturday game group are very fond of it. Kitsune and me in particular play it often. And one of the biggest things we always crack jokes about is that teleportation, especially when you use it in a game, especially a tabletop that allows you to use it whatever way you want, it's a game breaker. It is a nightmare to stop. It allows you to do things that go way beyond what you normally think of when you think of this power. And offensive uses for it are horrifying. And even if you, for example, if you had the ability to teleport objects somewhere, teleport a grenade in someone's pocket, it instantly destroy anything, instantly beat somebody, instantly disarm somebody. You could teleport other people. You could kill anybody. You could kill the Juggernaut, or at least get rid of them, because you could drop them off into the ocean, Marianas Trench, leave them on the moon. Like, the teleportation power, even if you can just teleport yourself, the sheer maneuverability, the ability to be wherever you want, how impossible it is to catch. We had a teleporting villain, and we as a party just said, because there's just nothing anybody could do. Like, he was a teleporting villain. He could just teleport whatever he wanted and just leave. And we realized, oh my God, a teleporting villain just can't be stopped unless he F's up. There's nothing you can do on your end just about to stop him. So it's never shown to be the nightmare power it really is. They did a little bit of it in the X-Men movie when they first introduced Nightcrawler, where everybody's like, oh crap, he's a teleporter. He can kill the president whenever he wants.
Yeah, Nightcrawler in general is just an underutilized
he should be
character.
Well, in some comics, like I said, if you're a big
he has
they
been
play up
badass
the nightmare of it.
Yeah.
But half the time, teleporters are considered second string, and they're really top tier powers.
I'll say in the more kiddier versions, they dumb down his powers a lot, or the utility of his powers, and probably because they are so frightening.
Teleporting somebody into a wall. I mean, there's like a lot of horrifying versions of that power. It is an iconic power. Teleportation is rarely considered one of the best.
What about you, Bloodaxe? What do you got?
Well, I mean, that was a pretty good one, I think. I think one of the ones that I've always found underutilized, and when we played Mutants and Masterminds, was something that was absolutely broken, in my opinion, was the alternate dimension ability. Because we actually had a player-created character that was basically a walking mouthful of the small body, but the alternate dimension was inside him. So we got rid of a lot of things just by swallowing them into the alternate dimension, and that way they couldn't get out. So I think that's one of the ones that we don't see a whole lot of, but I always thought was a really cool ability for players or even in enemies to use. But I don't think it was used very often at all.
I don't know how alternate dimension cannot be a broken like that. Like Anybody that utilizes that is
I don't know if it's an iconic
yeah.
because it's rare, but it is one that when utilized correctly is particularly terrifying.
Mine was similar to his, except it was a lower tier of basically a lot of the same issues, and that's flight. Flight is heavily underused. Flight can be really broken, especially for anybody who does not have flight. Once flight versus no flight, flight almost always wins. Unless you have some kind of air, warfare you can put out there.
Better be immune to falling damage. Because like I say, you also grab somebody and just drop there. But
yeah. No, I mean flying has been.
Of course, you can do that also with teleport.
Yeah. Oh no, and that's why I was like, it's almost a lesser version of a teleport on how on the brokenness. But now I will say that is one of the things. I mean, we've utilized the brokenness of flight in D&D before.
That's why they toned it down so bad to 5th Ed. Like they severely gimped flight because they started to realize how horrifying flight was when facing non-flying opponents, especially for a wizard who could throw lightning from up there in the air. They just said, let's severely take that down a notch because you don't want magic to be fun.
Give Dispel Magic a longer range and
no, can't be fun. No fun magic. Now the second one I brought up, since no one mentioned it, was actually because we read a lot of cultivation novels and they started to even realize this was speed.
Oh well, speed. Everybody has known that speed is under a poorly utilized.
And yet, how many speedsters are considered the top tier in their comic books? Like, even the Flash, who pushes it to a realm of ridiculous, is occasionally acknowledged as being strong as, but is usually played as a second stringer.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is that's the speed debate is everywhere. Like that's not what. It's the reason I didn't bring up speed.
That's why I didn't mind it being a second one, because I figured like everybody knows that. Like for example, they showed how powerful Quicksilver was in X movies,
and then
later on it didn't accomplish a damn thing, and you're thinking, but he can solve every problem by himself.
Yeah,
he could literally just, hey, Magneto's like, you can't stop me, Xavier, because I'm wearing my helmet. Where's my helmet? Oh fuck. And his Quicksilver just like, hey. And it's like, oh, yeah, you could totally do that because you're Quicksilver. You could just take my helmet. Oh, yeah. But, man, that's bad, isn't it? Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how we beat Superman. If only we could have some kryptonite. If there's any on the planet, I'll just go get it and shove it up his nose. And Superman's like, because, I'm the Flash.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So that wraps that up. Let's move on. All right, to monopolies. Sony accusing. Sony
championing the cause of the little man, Sony, because they don't believe in monopoly.
So last week we talked about the purchase of Blizzard with Microsoft, and Microsoft going, there's no must-have games. Well, Sony bit back and was like, yo, Xbox owning Call of Duty could influence users' console choice. My God.
I mean, that's anything you own. You buy a console based on the games.
Yeah.
So that's also water wet, sky blue. You know what I'm saying?
You don't think Diablo could influence a console purchase? Or
I mean, their argument is that Call of Duty, people may want to play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So, why would they be buying them if they didn't have a game that was desirable? But it's the stupidity of Sony claiming that Microsoft is trying to have a monopoly while Sony is still winning the console. Like, Sony's still, I believe, the most sold console. So it's the top dog pointing at someone else and going, they're trying to get an advantage. And everybody's like, you have the most unique franchises. Don't allow them on other consoles half the time, and you're the top-selling console. You have the monopoly because you have the most of the damn business right now. You have the majority. You can't point at the minority and claim they're a monopoly. I don't know about top 10 games, but I know for selling consoles, I think PlayStation's still winning, man. I think PlayStation's still the most sold.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, what I was going to say is, they brought out the Call of Duty, which I think I meant to pull up most.
It's interesting because one of the top 10 is
a
Horizon Zero Dawn, an exclusive PlayStation game.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah. If you want to talk about in the top 10, yeah, what Horizon Forbidden?
Because I don't think any of those others, other than the ones for Nintendo, are exclusive. Like I don't think Xbox has an exclusive top 10 game that only they have.
Yeah. Which I think Call of Duty in currently played games, they're in the top 10, I think, or most.
So that means they would just match them. They would just be getting into the top 10 finally with an exclusive game. Assuming they even made it exclusive.
We pulled that list last week, and I think Call of Duty was the only one that was on there, except for Minecraft, which was Microsoft. But I think Minecraft is on multiple.
Microsoft's not exclusive, though. I'm pretty sure you can play Minecraft on everything.
I don't think you can play it on Sony. I think you can play it on Switch, you can play it on Xbox, and you can play it on PC.
But is that Sony or is that Microsoft doing that? Because Sony's also funny about that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, Sony's it was cross-platform, so. And Sony had that stance against cross-platform for a while.
But the great irony. I'm sorry, we didn't let Bloodaxe. What do you think about them trying to claim that Microsoft is trying to have a monopoly?
Well, I mean, every console has games that are going to be exclusive to them, whether it be Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. And I do think that the Call of Duty games has a heavy draw, but there's nothing that says that you couldn't jump in and try to acquire Blizzard yourself back when they were being sold. Mm-hmm. So Microsoft's willing to put in the investment, which wasn't cheap, in order to try to recoup that investment. But I think we all know that the most popular consoles is shifting more towards Xbox because of the Game Pass opportunities, which has a lot of good games that we get included with our subscription. The store is much easier to navigate, and I do think that Microsoft is trying to get to the point to where the Xbox is the must-have console of choice. We've even seen some of our own Dicejunkies convert from PlayStation over to Xbox with these most recent generations of consoles. So I don't believe they're bullshit. I think it's just they're just trying to keep their stake in the market, but we will start seeing it slip because of not only their choices with acquiring games, but even some of the modifications and the censoring they're doing on the games they currently have.
Well, one of the reasons we brought it up, the whole Sony accusing Xbox of this is because, like you said, they could have invested in Blizzard and all that, but they're too busy spending their money on buying every fucking anime company out there. So once again, Sony expands their anime empire with accusation of leading anime store Right Stuff. I'm not very familiar with Right Stuff. I've never even heard of it before, but it's just another company that.
I mean, they already got Funimation and Crunchyroll, the two largest, and now they're picking off the small ones. So they're forming a massive anime monopoly while complaining that Microsoft is for a monopoly. In fact, they already have it. I mean, at this point, you got to go under the radar and the third, way down just to find a place to get anime that hasn't been tainted by the stench of Sony. And I call it stench because of Sony's modification and censorship, as Bloodaxe mentioned, of materials, which means they're corrupting the content. They're getting it, they're changing it to meet with their ideals of what they want to say, and they're putting it back out. So that's the worst thing that can happen for any entertainment medium is
apparently
when
Right Stuff,
they screw with it.
Yeah, Right Stuff was founded in 1987. The retailer has been a leading source for anime pop culture merchandise online. Its product lineup includes Blu-ray, manga, books, music, figurines, collectibles.
So a true monopoly. They're actually getting into even the freaking merchandise. So now you're going to have to get your merchandise through them also.
Which
that's a monopoly.
EuroAnimeStore.com. So apparently,
no, that's for. I wasn't going to cover the part, but yes, their erotic products are being moved somewhere else.
Oh,
because Sony doesn't want to sell that.
I missed that. Okay, Right Stuff.
That's not Euro. That's Euro, not Euro.
Yeah.
Anyway, other than their adult material, Sony is confiscating and taking everything. They're still staying out of that market.
That's funny.
But I mean, they're picking off every venue to get anime products, literally making it so that you can't get it without going to them, and that's a monopoly.
Yeah, the one comment on this article: "Come on, censoring anime stores now."
I mean, you saw they had to move the erotic material to another because yes, they bought anime stores and are moving the ecchi out of it. Sony is now censoring physical locations. I don't know what's got Sony on this kick. I mean, what the heck? But Sony is trying to censor your life.
That is amazing.
I mean, that's what that is. I mean, you heard what they said. They had to move it to a website.
Oh, fuck Sony, man. Like, Sony's there with Epic now. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Sony is trying to censor your life. And then got the nerve to be saying someone else is trying to do a monopoly. And I'm like, you know what Microsoft's not doing? Censoring everything and trying to make sure you don't have a place to get it. Like, Sony is trying to control the flow of anime and kill it. I don't know why.
I mean, I can get anime porn on my Switch for
You think Sony's been secretly taken over by Tencent?
I'm sure Tencent's probably in there somewhere.
Just because I don't understand why they would be ruining these businesses like this. Being a Japanese company, why are they doing this to...
Are they Japanese, though?
Sony was. Well, you're right. They did move their headquarters out of Japan. Oh, God, they moved to California. It's California. It's always California.
Can you consider... Is Sony even considered a Japanese company
No,
anymore?
They're California now.
I mean, let's
California
see,
knows how to ruin
Sony.
everything.
It still says its headquarters is Tokyo, Japan, but...
Nah, man, they moved to
Oh, wait, no, it's the Sony Entertainment that I think moved to...
Which is the part I think that's grabbing all the anime. So was there a split in Sony? Is there a civil war? Is there like the California faction and the Japan faction, and the California faction is trying to ruin the Japan faction? Is this some kind of weird, like, internal... You see what I'm saying, though, Bloodaxe?
Well,
Doesn't that sound like internal
Sony...
conflict?
I know there is a...
It does, but it's anime, so it's not going to hurt me as much as it's going to hurt everybody else. But I don't think any kind of censorship, whether it be digital or physical, should be taken to the point to where it's going with Sony. I mean, it's just like with anything. We were talking about Paramount. You know, they said if you don't like it, don't watch it. So with Sony gobbling all this stuff up and then pushing their agenda the way they have been is concerning. Especially, I mean,
Sony Interactive Entertainment. Okay.
Yeah, it's concerning. Like you said, it's insidious. It's a takeover of an entire entertainment genre with the intention to change it.
And it's frustrating because you see what they're doing in the film industry. Sony's killing it with movies. But when you switch over to video gaming, it's almost kind of like a yin and yang. You have really, really good high performance, and then you have shit.
Are they killing it in movies, though?
Yeah, look at Spider-Man. No Way Home.
I mean, that's one franchise that Disney has highly its fingers in.
That's true. They're doing these Resident Evils. They're fucking up. Resident Evils did terrible.
Morpheus is supposedly Morbius. I mean, Morbius blew.
Don't you insult Morpheus like that? He didn't do nothing.
Morbius blew chunks. Venom's debatable.
Sony movie. I mean, it may not be the Venom that we would like to see, but it made a lot of money at the theater.
Well, yeah, that's why I said it's debatable.
Yeah, Venom and Uncharted are so. Ghostbusters Afterlife was okay.
Uncharted's not out yet, is it?
2022. Is it not out yet?
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Could have sworn I've seen a review of that. Maybe I'm wrong. No, it's already got our score. It's got a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 6.4 on IMDb.
Okay, so there you go.
So like I said, Uncharted didn't do well. So but they had some big ones though. I get what you're saying, Bloodaxe. Because I mean, Spider-Man did so well, it almost makes up for it because it was massive. Spider-Man was like one of the biggest movies.
Even the worst Spider-Man movie still made money. You know,
that's true too.
But Marvel's not.
Yeah,
I mean, Marvel in general. I mean, they're sinking it right now.
Phase 4 is Phase 4.
Why do you think Marvel cries every time they see Spider-Man over there with Sony? And why they try to get their hands on it?
Which is funny because they would have ruined it. We've seen what they're doing. They would have just ruined it.
They would have made Spider-Man a non-popular character.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'd be Spider-Girl by now.
Fair enough.
All right.
Or instead of Mary Jane, it'd be Marcus Jane as the new boyfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, I went there. I don't care.
So I hear Paramount's doing really well. Next up. So Paramount is having one heck of a upswing, says with the Top Gun Maverick and all that. Their streaming is going up, up, up. They now sit at 43.3 million subscribers. So while all the other streaming services are currently losing customer base, it does seem like Paramount is going up.
But how? I don't see myself represented at all in Top Gun Maverick. I don't see me at all. I haven't seen me in anything they've done. How are they succeeding? That's not what I've been told how it's supposed to work. And Beavis and Butthead, that's toxic masculinity. No way a Beavis and Butthead revival could do well. Those are two white guys saying rude things.
Oh man, but yeah, no.
My worldview has been shattered.
We actually talked about them a few weeks back on them basically saying that they weren't going to take content down just because it offended somebody. If you feel offended by something, you can just not watch it.
Hey, that's violence against somebody. Apparently,
which is
that opinion.
Yeah. Which is the amusing thing with streaming services. Like streaming services. There are so many things on these streaming services I would not watch. And guess what? I don't.
That's right.
I didn't watch that Cinderella crappy movie they made. And oh, God, we're even talking about Sneakerella. That was racist.
Also,
so it's like, yeah, there's bad stuff out. I mean, dude, we still occasionally watch, I won't pay them money, but you have it, Netflix shows, despite the fact that they have content on there that I think should be freaking outlawed. What? I'm from Texas. I support it. I still think it's damn near criminal. So it's like,
I will say Netflix. I feel still has for my taste has enough things I enjoy to make it worthwhile. Honestly, if I didn't get Disney Plus through my I get it free from Verizon with my phone service, I would not pay for Disney Plus because it does not have enough content that I enjoy.
Yeah, because I will give Netflix this, man. Come on, Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais, man. How could I not? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's but content worth paying.
I've never unsubscribed to something because they had content I didn't like. Unsubscribed because they don't have enough content that I like.
I have unsubscribed from Netflix because they had content I didn't like.
Well, okay, I will say, I did protest against cuties and canceled my subscription for a while just to show with my wallet that I did not agree with that content. But that was not an issue of morality or our personal preferences. That was a matter of I thought what they were doing should be illegal.
That's called I'm not going to support your criminal activity.
Yeah. But that's because, I mean, I have nieces and nephews, and I have concerns about the world a lot of times.
Yeah. Like, we want to, there's got to be a point where it ain't about acceptance. It's about going, no, that's not okay. There's always got to be a line. And what scares me is that what may bother me about that movie is it made the line blurry. I'm not even saying it crossed it. I'll admit. Yeah. I'm not even sure if it crossed it, but it made it blurry enough that I went, let's not even entertain dancing on this razor's edge. I don't want us to be on the fence. They had those weren't adults pretending to be teenagers. They used real children. And that's why I had to do it. They used real children. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
All right. No. I'll get tired of this topic. It's really a cringy topic for me. So I'm going to move on.
That's why we canceled our subscription. Yeah. It's cringy. But the cool part is Paramount has proven you can make money. Yes. Just to wrap it up, you can make money by putting out what you want and then telling people watch it or don't watch it.
Well, I think it also, what the heck?
That is his dog.
Also, at the same time, I also think that it shows that the content that a lot of media and stuff like that is saying, people don't want. Well, I mean, like Top Maverick, they wanted to censor the hell out of it. They wanted them to take out a bunch of stuff. They finally said no. and they did their original idea, and they were like, "Oh, well, that's just horrible," but it's at the same time, it's made top money, you know.
I mean, it's just like somebody says everybody the media tells you Dave Chappelle's not funny, sells out shows constantly.
Oh yeah,
it's weird.
You also have the Chris debate, you know, with Chris from Guardians of the Galaxy. And
Chris Pratt sucks, man. Show's doing amazing,
but
though. He's knocking out
everything he does is making money.
Yeah.
You know,
but he's canceled. He's a bad person. Yeah. He's the worst Chris Pratt.
He's the worst Chris.
He's the worst Chris. Even though Thor: Love and Thunder was trash. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I mean the thing is because he's making a lot of movies that are mostly for guys. He's making those guy movies, and a lot of people want those. A lot of guys want those.
I think Chris Pratt has had a more successful movie career than Chris Evans. Because Thor: Dark World sucked, Ghostbusters 2016 sucked, and Thor: Love and Thunder is doing okay, but I don't know if it broke even.
He ate babies and Snowpiercer, though.
Well, my key point is I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at while Chris Pratt may not have as big a successes in some cases, everything he's been in has done well.
Yeah.
Whereas Chris Evans had some stinkers. So is he the worst, Chris?
Yeah. Jurassic Park was debatable, but
actually made a lot of money.
It did.
It made a lot of money, though.
It was just not good.
True, but it made a lot of money. Whereas, like I said, my boy, and I like Chris Evans, don't get me wrong. I actually like Chris Evans. I just don't like what he allows himself to be put into. Yeah. I wish he'd go. I don't think Thor should do that. But when have we had an actor? Well, I mean, other than like Denzel Washington, that's my boy. There's a few actors out there that look at roles and go, no. Or look at, no, I mean, I'm about to go, so I shouldn't. But, principled actors are not common.
You're muted right now, so.
Of course he's muted. He's trying to keep his dog from bothering us. Unmute yourself and tell us what you got.
I was going to ask, did you guys actually see the movie Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt?
Yes, yeah.
That one was really good.
It was actually good. I enjoyed it.
And the Terminal List was fantastic.
Terminal List is killing it, man. Terminal List is like one of the top-rated shows, isn't it?
And so, yeah, I mean, it does go to show that, regardless of your perceived political leanings, you can do well with a well-told story and keeping your mouth shut. Because that's one of the big things about Christopher Pratt is he doesn't jump in and say one thing or the other. He just keeps to himself. He wants to keep his private life private, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But he does have a lot of bad publicity. But the publicity isn't preventing him from being successful, and I think that's something that other celebrities should take note of. I get that some of them have a platform that they want to do good on. But everyone shouldn't dive in just because they want the clout of the woke Bob.
Well, and I honestly think
hero doesn't do any good in the long run.
Yeah, I honestly think as much as he does try not to talk about his politics, but he is married to somebody whose father is on a specific side of politics. So I think he gets automatically...
I was going to say that all the bad press for Chris Pratt has purely been generated by the media. He's never said or done anything. It's exclusively been the media attacking him because, it's like somebody got canceled recently because they said they had a conservative friend. I can't remember which celebrity it was, but it was a very liberal celebrity, but they slipped and said, well, I have conservative friends. And they started going after them. Like, you can't even have friends? Like, geez, can't you have friends?
Dude, who was it? Was it Ellen DeGeneres that talked to Trump at a football game or something, or a baseball? I don't remember. Like, she was sitting next to him, and she was cordial with him, and everybody got mad because he was cordial with them.
You're not even allowed to have family members or associate with people of a certain viewpoint. And to me, that's what's the word? Help me find a word that's not as offensive. That's controlling. I'll say that. Because when you try to tell me not only what I can think, but what people I know can think, what my family can think, who I'm allowed to talk to, that's not democracy or freedom.
It's more hypocritical than anything else because you talk about freedom, whatever kind of freedom.
Help, I'm being oppressed.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if we ever make it big, you're going to get canceled because I have a conservative co-host. Got it.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently I'm not allowed to associate with you, which I find hilarious because I'm like, don't tell me who I'm allowed to associate with, you Nazi fascist bastard. Because that's what Nazi and fascist is to me, is I'm being told who to talk to, what to think, where to go,
I mean, dude, if we get in, people start assuming things because of who we've had on the show, then we're just screwed in every direction. I mean, we've had very
all
liberal people on here.
Yeah.
We've had gay, straight.
Yeah, we don't care. And for those of you that don't know, all three of us, we have different leanings and different philosophies, and we still manage to get along no matter the differences in our beliefs. I think I can safely say that the majority of us, have a Christian belief and background, but if we have someone on that's not, then that's not going to deter us from being cordial and polite and being respectful. And I think that's one of the things that people that do condemn others for associating, having family members, or even having slightly different political leanings, they run into trouble a lot.
Yeah. Well, we're running late on time, so let's wrap this up. We did get a request on Discord to get a Filipino on the show, but I don't even know if there's Filipinos in Mississippi.
Our reply was, "Do you know one?" Because we're not opposed to bringing somebody on as a guest.
Well, no.
But
it was a joke, obviously, and we've never turned down to have anybody on the show.
I don't know anybody, man.
Except for one politician that got a hold of me one time and wanted to be on the show, and I told them, no, we don't do the politics.
No, yeah. Because despite our joking around about it, we're not really political. We don't care enough.
My neighbor across the street is Filipino, so if I need to grab a Filipino, I can go across the street and ask him to come on the show.
All right, there you go. Awesome.
There you go.
See, we will. All right, Discord. If you're watching,
if you're serious,
subscribe to Patreon, and we will get.
There you go, and we will get you your Filipino.
Dude, put a comment on this video on YouTube if that's what you want. I'll go grab them. Tell us what you want to talk about. And if you want it in Spanish, I'll be lost, but we can have it in Spanish too.
Man, my Spanish is rusty.
Last topic we have.
I can tell if he's calling me the N-word. I know that in Spanish.
Yeah.
I know when I got to punch a Latino, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about all I know in Spanish is vulgarity.
Yeah, so, I know if I'm being called well, I won't call him out, but I know all the curse words and the racial slurs. I will catch you if you say them.
So let's move on to the last topic. Last up, we have Batgirl has been canceled.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
I mean, speaking of,
is it safe to say something? Simu Lee got in a lot of trouble for joking about it.
Speaking of, we were talking about Paramount in the previous segment. I mean, Warner Brothers. Hey,
Zaslav, baby, he ain't playing.
They're not
that
playing.
That new boss, Zaslav, is in there, boy. He's in there throwing. He's like Ryu. He's in there.
Now, also there's been a lot of different information on this. Like, for one thing, they said this movie was almost complete when they canceled it, but then if you talk to some other people, they say it was nowhere near complete.
It was nearly complete.
Let's see, where was that?
They had a screening, dude. It's nearly complete. Like I heard there was a freaking screening.
So here you have these guys. These are guys who were making a movie, Adil El Arbi and Belafala. We're saddened and shocked, but they said, we still can't believe it. As directors, it is critical that our work, blah, blah, blah. And while the film was far from finished.
That dude looks really weird.
So here they say the film was far from finished. We wish the fans all over the world would have had it.
Well, I'd say that too if I got embarrassed like that. But no, I heard there was even a screening and it went really poorly. And you can't screen something that isn't nearly done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had to have had like a full film to screen. Now, maybe they were planning on batch a bunch of changes, but no. And I mean, $90 million in, nah, man. Like that's called we're trying to save it. Because notice it's the directors that said it, not Warner Brothers, who were saying it was nearly done. It was trashed because it was going to damage the franchise. If you want to hear some interesting rumors on it, check out Doomcock. He has a video where some insiders gave a lot of rumors.
Yeah, no.
Rumors.
I'm just saying,
talk about what
you
may
mentioned
have happened.
Doomcock, I don't know, man. He's about 50-50 on his rumors.
I'd say I'd give him about at least a 70 or 80.
Oh, no, I'd say 50-50, dude. Every time you guys tell me a rumor from Doomcock, half the time it's not true. Or okay, maybe not 50% that gets proven not true. It's either 50% of the time it's proven not true, or it never comes to light. It never gets proven true.
Exactly. There are some things that are. We heard this is happening, and it's been 2 years, and we're still waiting one way or the other.
Yeah.
So no, I agree. There's some that are kind of so vague or so far in the future, or plans or in the works that are. But I mean, he's also a YouTube celebrity. He takes what he hears, he vets what he can. He tells you to take it with a grain of salt. But it is interesting because there are some nuggets of truth in some of what he says, and I'm sure there's some situations where some people are giving information that is false.
And he usually will identify that. He'll say, "I've got a pretty suspicion about this info."
I've never been a big fan of rumors in general. I like facts. I like what happened. You know.
Well, there's sometimes you'll never get.
No,
that.
and I know that. But I mean, that's why when we run through topics, I try to get things that have some clarification to talk about.
I don't worry about it because it's not like we're going to verify it either. So,
but I mean,
that's why I said
Batgirl,
if you want rumors,
Batgirl has been canceled.
That is a fact. It has been canceled, and it was Zaslav, and Zaslav is the man. That is a fact. Like, because he came in saying he was going to clean house, and he's been firing people. He's also terminated several people. So,
but they're still putting out the new Flash.
That's no. That's one of those ones that's like that's not confirmed. They are seriously considering it because after the recent cult 911 calls, they are definitely going like, can we put the cult leader?
We're gonna see. I'm curious. I will give Warner Brothers mad props if they actually
By the way,
say
not a rumor. You can listen to the 911 call.
But if they say no Flash, if they say we don't want to support this actor's work because of the facts around his personality, I will never get rid of my HBO Plus Warner Brothers subscription.
If they do that, I will support the next thing they put out. I won't even go see it. I'll just buy a ticket and give it to someone and just go watch this. What? I don't want to see it.
If you have that level of morality to be able to stop,
it doesn't have to be morality. If you have that level of business sense to go, I shouldn't put this movie out.
I mean, between Batgirl and they shelved CNN Plus, so he doesn't mind eating, some losses in order to be able to improve the content of the
he thinks long term, man. He's thinking long term.
Well, the thing is, he believes those projects are bad projects, though. The question is Flashpoint a bad project, or does it just have a bad person?
It has a bad actor.
Well, and are you going to stop something because of the person, but not the product?
Well, it depends. How bad will it damage your reputation? Because it looks like, okay, let me tell you why I think he should. I predict because I'm the only one here that listened to it. I listened to the 911 call. There was a 911 call out there. You can listen to it. So this ain't rumor. You can listen to the call. You can go listen to the recording of what the police said. And they're on the call. There are people calling when he was in Hawaii, saying that he's running a cult. I'm not saying that he is running a cult, but they're getting 911 calls from people telling them he's running a cult. And my thing is,
so you can validate those 911 calls, though it's still sort of rumor.
Yeah, sure. Maybe it's a fake 911 call.
You know how many fake 911 calls? Yeah, I mean, swatting anybody.
Yeah.
So,
but the key point is that I believe
it's other behavior that makes it more true.
I mean, there's also all the witnesses and people giving first-person accounts.
But anyway.
But maybe they're all lying
All
also.
right.
But the key point is, to get the point out, is that the reason they should cancel the movie is because I believe that we are building up to a massively bad event involving Ezra Miller. PR-wise, or even worse, just actually really bad. And if they put this movie out, and then a great tragedy occurs with all the flags and warnings they had, Warner Brothers will get drugged through the mud. There's even people now already accusing Warner. This is a real thing that several of these people they've talked to, these people saying that Warner is giving him the power and money to do the bad things.
I think there are possibilities of lawsuits against Warner due to his action because
I think they're the ones that bailed him out of jail all those times.
That Warner basically sanctioned this activity, which I don't know if that's the fact, but I mean,
we've seen people get called accountable with less evidence and validity. So to get themselves separated from him legally, it would be a very smart decision for them to get away from him before they find him with a bunch of pregnant girls on some cult ranch somewhere.
We'll see what happens. Bloodaxe, you got anything to say before we wrap this up?
Well, at least R. Kelly's probably not going to be the most infamous psychopath when it comes to this type of behavior. I'm trying to watch my words to make sure we don't get flagged on YouTube.
Yeah, R. Kelly, he's been he got sentenced.
He did. He did.
So.
At least he didn't have the backup of a major studio covering up his activities.
I wouldn't say he didn't have the backup of a major studio covering.
No, maybe he did.
Yeah, I mean, just different studio.
Yeah. I think these circumstances, if what we're being told comes to be accurate, then what R. Kelly got will be a slap on the wrist compared to what Ezra Miller's probably.
From what I hear from people, R. Kelly got away with a lot of stuff.
I mean, I just didn't know there was somebody backing them as open. Let's put it like this: if they were smart. They did it real subtle.
I mean,
but Warner is just openly backing Ezra Miller.
The music industry is just as corrupt and crooked as Hollywood, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But anyway, all right, guys, let's wrap this up with go to Dicejunkies.com. Check out all the links there. There's links there. Dicejunkies.com/links will bring you to everywhere we can be found on the internet. That's Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Go to YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe there. You can see some extra content there as well. And check us out every Sunday here on twitch.tv/Dicejunkies at 3:30 Central Time. Thanks for watching. As every week,
we hope you enjoy.
Just a player.